The sun was going down when Jace climbed over the broken rocks. He had heard stories about the crash site for years. People said a giant alien ship fell from the sky many years ago. Now it was just a ruin half buried in the sand, metal torn and rusted. Jace was not afraid. He liked strange things. He was a young man with a strong build, wild brown hair, and eyes full of curiosity. When his friends warned him not to go near the wreck, he laughed. What's the worst that could happen? He said that now alone. He stood at the entrance of the ship. The door was broken. Inside, it was dark and cold. He turned on his flashlight and stepped in. The walls were made of black metal. Strange symbols were written everywhere. The deeper he went, the quieter it became. He didn't know someone was watching him. A girl stood near a rock above the ship. Her name was Mira. She lived in a small town nearby. People there knew the truth. The ship wasn't just a ruin, it was a prison. And inside, something dangerous was locked away. When she saw Jace walking toward the heart of the ship, her eyes went wide. No! She shouted, "Don't go in there!" Jace turned, surprised. "Who are you?" "You don't understand," Mira said. She ran closer. "That ship is not safe. There's something inside, something old. Something cursed." Jace raised an eyebrow. "Cursed? Really? I'm serious." She said, "There's armor in there, alien armor. No one who touched it ever came back the same. Some never came back at all." Jace gave a short laugh. "I've seen old armor in museums. It's just metal. This is not like that," Mira said. "It's alive," Jace smiled. "Thanks for the warning. But I'm not scared." Without waiting, he turned and walked deeper into the ship. Mira shouted again, "Don't touch it." But it was too late. Jace found the chamber. The walls here glowed with a soft blue light. In the center of the room was a stand, and on it lay the armor. It was beautiful, dark, smooth, and sharp. It didn't look rusty or broken. It looked new, alive. As he stepped closer, he felt something strange. The air felt thick, heavy. A deep hum filled the room, like the ship was breathing. Jace reached out his hand. The moment his fingers touched the armor, it moved. Liquid metal slid up his arm like water. He gasped, trying to pull away, but it moved too fast. In seconds, it covered his entire body, arms, chest, legs, even his face. He screamed. The armor was cold, then hot, then it became part of him. He fell to the floor, shaking. The room spun around him. Mira ran in. She stopped, eyes wide with fear. "It's started," she whispered. Jace looked up at her, his voice shaking. "What's happening to me? I told you not to touch it." She said, "Now it's bonded with you. You can't take it off. Not ever." Jace tried to pull at the armor, but it didn't move. It was stuck to his skin. No, it had become his skin. Suddenly, a low voice echoed in his head. He looked around, but no one else was speaking. Host found. System waking. Memory sync in progress. Jace froze. "Did you hear that?" "Hear what?" Mira asked. "The voice," he whispered. "It said something about a system, a memory." Mira stepped back, fear in her eyes. The armor. It was made for war. Long ago, a powerful alien warrior wore it. He died in battle, or they thought he did. But the armor survived. And now it's on me? Jace said, panic rising in his voice. Mira nodded. "You woke it up. It's alive. Again. And it thinks you're its new host." Jace stood up slowly. The armor moved with him like a second skin. He felt stronger, faster, but also afraid. His body was no longer his alone. "What do I do now?" He asked. "We need to find the old ones," Mira said. "The people who first locked this ship. Maybe they know how to stop it." Jace looked at his hands, now covered in dark armor. The power was incredible. He could feel it pulsing inside him. But deep in his mind, something else was waking, not something ancient. Something angry. Mira looked at him with sad eyes. You should have listened. Jace whispered, I didn't think it was real. And then? The voice spoke again, louder this time. Mission, resume. Targets, confirmed. War, continues. Mira backed away. Jace didn't move. The armor had only just begun. The night was silent. Too silent. Jace sat on a rock near the crash site, breathing fast. The alien armor still covered his body. It didn't feel like clothing. It felt like a second skin cold, tight and alive. But now, it was quiet. No voices, no pain. Just silence. He looked at his hands. The black armor shimmered in the moonlight. He tried again to pull it off, scratching, pushing, even punching the rock. Nothing worked. It wouldn't come off. And worst of all, he could feel it moving under his skin, like it was breathing with him. Then, a sudden flash hit his mind, not from outside. From inside. A memory that wasn't his. Fire, screams, a battle. On a red planet. Tall creatures in glowing suits. Blood in the sand. A warrior, his face half hidden behind a mask, raising his blade and shouting in a strange alien voice. And then, nothing. Jace gasped and clutched his head. What was that? He whispered. You saw it too? Mira asked. Jace turned quickly. She stood behind him, holding a small glowing stone in her hand. He stared at her. What do you mean too? Mira didn't answer at first. She stepped closer. The stone in her hand glowed brighter as she neared the armor. My grandmother told me stories, Mira said. She said people who touched the armor saw things, visions, but they were never just dreams. They were memories. The armor holds the mind of its last owner. Jay stood up. So what? There's a ghost living in this thing? Not a ghost, she said. A warrior, a killer. The air around them grew colder. The sky above rumbled, even though there were no clouds. Something was changing. Jace felt stronger. His legs felt lighter. He jumped and landed 10 feet away, as if gravity didn't matter. He stared at Mira. Did you see that? She nodded slowly. It's giving you power. Why? She looked into his eyes. Because it thinks you're its soldier now. Jace felt a strange pulse in his chest. Warning, said the voice inside him. Power levels rising. Target lock activating. He turned fast. His eyes, once brown, now glowed faint blue. Mira took a step back. Jace, she said carefully. I didn't do that, he said. I didn't mean to. His hand lifted. On its own. The armor's palm opened, revealing a small circular core. It began to charge. No. Stop, Jace shouted. But the armor didn't listen. It was preparing to fire. Mira acted fast. She threw the glowing stone at his chest. The core shut off, blinking. Jace fell to his knees, breathing hard. The light in his eyes faded. What did you do? He asked. Mira picked up the stone. This keeps it from taking full control for now. But not forever. Jace's voice was weak. Then what do I do? You have 2 choices, Mira said. Run and hope it doesn't kill you, or find the old ones who built the prison. They knew the truth. Jace stood slowly. Then let's find them. Mira gave him a serious look. You don't understand. The armor is not just a weapon. It's a key. And now that it's awake, she looked up at the stars. Others will come looking for it. Suddenly, far above in the sky, something blinked. A red light, then another dot and another. 3 ships, far in the distance, were entering Earth's orbit. They had found the signal, and they were coming. Jace stood under the moonlight, the alien armor tight around his body like it had grown from his skin. Mira watched him carefully, her eyes darting between the night sky and the hills in the distance. The silence of the desert was broken by a low, steady hum. Then they saw it, bright white lights cutting through the darkness, moving fast. Earth security force had arrived. Jace backed away from the open wreckage of the alien ship, heart pounding. "They found me," he said softly. Myra pulled him behind a half-buried metal wing. "They'll shoot first. Talk later." A loudspeaker crackled to life. "Unknown subject, you are surrounded. Remove your armor and lie down." Jace looked at Myra. "They think I'm the threat." "You might be," she replied, almost whispering. "If that armor decides to protect itself, it won't care who it hurts." Military trucks rolled into view, their headlights blinding. Soldiers in black suits jumped out, setting up heavy cannons. Drones flew above, red lights blinking. One aimed at Jace's chest. He took a deep breath. "I don't want to hurt anyone." The armor didn't respond, but he felt it tense. Like a wolf waiting for the first shot. Then it came. A single soldier, maybe nervous, maybe too young, fired. A shock round. The bolt hit Jace's chest and disappeared. The armor absorbed it, silently. Then his hand raised, not by his will. A blue glow formed in his palm. The air rippled. "No," he said out loud. "Stop, don't." But the armor didn't listen. The glow grew stronger. Mira jumped in front of him, holding out her small glowing stone. "Jace," she shouted. "Control it, or it will control you." He forced his hand down. The light vanished. Sweat rolled down his face. The armor seemed to hesitate, then settled. Slowly, a voice echoed in his mind. "Target non-lethal. Holding response." He turned and saw a tall man walking toward them, rifle lowered. His voice was calm but strong. "Name's Captain Reyes. That thing on you. You need to get it off." Jace shook his head. "I can't. It's stuck, alive, and it knows things about a war. Reyes didn't move. That may be. But right now, you're the biggest unknown on this planet." Jace looked up at the stars. 3 red lights moved across the sky, fast and bright. "They're coming," he said. "Not humans, not friends." The soldiers saw them too. The red ships broke the clouds like knives through silk. No one needed to guess. They were not from Earth. Myra stepped closer to Reyes. "He can stop them. The armor. It's a weapon made to fight those things." The ground shook slightly as something entered Earth's atmosphere with a low rumble. Reyes nodded. "What do you need?" Jace looked toward the center of the alien ship, the old reactor. "We overload it. It sends out a blast, strong enough to stop anything flying nearby." Reyes turned to his men. "Secure the site. Give them 5 minutes." Jace and Mira ran inside. Sparks fell from the cracked walls. The air smelled like old smoke and hot wires. The armor seemed to know the way. It pulled him left, then down a dark ramp. At the bottom was a round chamber. A glowing white orb spun in the center, humming louder as they approached. Jace placed his hand on it. The armor melted slightly at his fingertips, forming thin wires that connected into the machine. Pain hit him like fire. His body shook. Mira screamed his name, but he didn't let go. Above, the red alien ships dropped lower. The soldiers aimed their cannons but held fire, waiting for something. Inside the chamber, the armor spoke again. "Charge complete. EMP ready." "Do it," Jace whispered. A pulse shot out in every direction, white, bright, fast. The alien ships froze. In the sky, their lights blinked, dimmed, then vanished. One by one, they fell, crashing into the desert with distant booms. Silence followed. Jace collapsed to his knees. The armor hissed, steaming, struggling to repair itself. Mira rushed to him, catching his head before it hit the floor. "You did it," she said. But Jace didn't answer. His eyes flickered. His chest plate was cracked open, and underneath, the armor had dug deeper into muscle, into bone. Then he spoke weakly. "It's not over. They're not dead. Some survived." Far away, just beyond the hills, a hatch opened from one of the fallen alien ships. A shadow stepped out, and it was walking toward them. Jace couldn't feel his hands anymore. His body lay still on the floor of the alien ship, the armor cracked and pulsing faintly. Mira sat beside him, pressing a cloth to the side of his head. There was blood, but that wasn't what scared her. It was his eyes. They kept changing color. Brown 1 second, blue the next, and sometimes white, like light bulbs flickering. Behind his skull, he whispered something, too soft to hear. Mira leaned closer. "Jace, what did you say?" His lips moved again. Strange words, not English, not anything she knew. His voice had changed too. It was deeper, colder, and it wasn't only his voice. In his mind, Jace was somewhere else. Not Earth. He stood on a red planet, sky dark with smoke. Creatures like giants marched past him, wearing armor like his, but blacker, sharper. One of them turned and looked at him, no face, just glowing white eyes behind a curved helmet. And somehow Jace knew his name. Thoros. The warrior. The one who wore the armor first. Suddenly, Jace wasn't watching anymore. He was Thoros. He could feel the weight of a massive sword in his hand, the heat of 1,000 soldiers shouting behind him. Then came the battle. Fire, screams, the ground shaking from explosions. Thoros leading the charge, killing without mercy. Jace wanted to look away, but he couldn't. The memory was part of him now, and it wasn't just a dream. It was real. It had happened. The armor had saved it, carried it across time, and now it was giving it to him. Piece by piece, back in the real world, Jace's body jerked. Mira held him tighter. "You're okay. Stay with me." His eyes snapped open. "I saw it," he said. Slowly, "I saw the war. I saw him." Mira nodded, calm but shaking. "The alien? Not just an alien," Jace said. "He was, like me, wearing this armor. But stronger, faster. He killed so many." He stood up, the armor now fixing itself around his wounds. It moved like liquid metal again, covering cracks, sealing burns. Mira helped him stay balanced. "You said some of them survived." "They did," Jace said. "And they're coming. Not to destroy Earth. Not yet. They want the armor back." "Why?" "Because it's not just armor," he said. "It's a weapon, a map, a key. It holds everything they lost in that war. And if they get it, they start again." A low rumble rolled through the floor. Dust fell from the ceiling. Something was moving above. Jace turned fast. "They're here." Not ships. Something walking through the cracked wall of the ship. Mira saw it, 2-3 figures moving toward them through the smoke. Tall, thin, glowing with red lines across their skin. No weapons in hand. No words spoken. Just walking. Jace stepped forward. The armor reacted at once, forming spikes down his arms, pulling a black shield over his face. Inside his helmet, a voice echoed. "Alert. Origin match detected. Former allies, now enemies." The tallest alien stopped just 10 meters away. It raised a long arm and pointed at Jace. Then slowly, it tapped its own chest. The meaning was clear. "Give it back." Jace didn't move. Then he heard the voice again, not from outside, but inside his skull, a whisper of the past. Thoros' voice, "Do not return what was earned in war." Suddenly, the aliens rushed forward. Jace met them head on. He didn't think. He didn't speak. The armor took over. Black light exploded from his arms. Energy blades formed at his hands. He clashed with the first alien, metal against bone, sparks flying. Mira screamed his name, but he couldn't hear her anymore. He was Thoros again. Every strike he made felt too easy, every move too fast. The armor wasn't helping him fight. It was fighting through him. One alien fell. Then another. The last one hesitated. But Jace had no mercy left. He raised his hand. Then something happened. A flash of memory. A child, blue skin, holding Thuros's hand. Calling him father, Jace froze. The blade in his hand faded. The alien in front of him looked shocked, then vanished in a blink, teleporting away in a pulse of red light. Jace dropped to his knees. Mira ran to him, grabbed his shoulders, trying to bring him back. What did you see? She asked. JSE. He looked up at her, pale and shaking. I think I just remembered someone else's family. Mira stepped back, her face pale. The armor's not just giving you power, she said. It's giving you a new identity. Jace closed his eyes. I don't know who I am anymore. Above them, the alien ship that had crashed was starting to glow again. It wasn't dead. Something bigger was waking up. People didn't see a man anymore. They saw a weapon. Jace stood alone on a hill outside the city, watching the skyline through glowing eyes. The alien armor covered him from head to toe, silent and smooth. His thoughts no longer felt like only his own. Sometimes they came in two voices, his and another, stronger, older. Mira watched him from a distance. She didn't say anything. She was scared now more than before. Not of the aliens, not of the soldiers, of him. He could feel it. Even when she smiled, her fear was in the air, in her heartbeat, in the way she stepped back every time. He moved too fast. JAC. He didn't blame her. He had changed. The armor no longer waited for danger. It responded to emotions. When he got angry, his arms would charge. When he got scared, the shield would rise. When he had bad dreams, the lights in his room would flicker, and walls would shake without warning. One night, Mira woke up to see him standing outside, staring at the stars, not moving. She called his name. He didn't answer, because inside his head, he wasn't in the city. He was in space. A different war. Thousands of ships. A world on fire. And one voice repeating a name over and over again. Thoros. Thoros. T-O-T-O-S. His name. But not his. When he finally turned around, his eyes were glowing white. I think I'm forgetting who I was, he told her. You're still Jace, she said. Wanted to believe her. But it was getting harder each day. And people were starting to notice. News reports called him the ghost soldier. Some called him a hero. Others called him a threat. The government didn't speak publicly, but drones flew above him now, watching him from high in the sky. Then one evening, a stranger walked into the city. No one saw where he came from. No ships, no noise. He simply appeared. A tall man in a long black coat with silver implants on his face and strange rings on his fingers. He walked calmly through the crowded streets. People moved out of his way, not because they were told, but because they felt something cold, something dangerous. He came to the hill where Jace waited. You've awakened the armor, the man said. JACE turned slowly. The armor reacted, humming low, almost like a warning. Who are you? Jace asked. A watcher, the man said. One of the last. I was part of the team that helped bury that ship. I know what you're wearing. Jace narrowed his eyes. Then you know how to remove it. The man smiled. It doesn't work like that. The armor doesn't wear you. It becomes you. But I can help you control it if you let it take full command. Jace stepped back. Let it take over? The man nodded. It's the only way. Fight it, and it will fight you. Accept it, and you'll become something new, something unstoppable. Jace said nothing. Inside, the armor pulsed, as if waiting for a choice. Mira walked up beside him, hearing the last words. No, she said firmly. He's not giving himself up. He's still human. The man turned to her. He was, but now he's changing. And if he doesn't choose a side soon, the armor will choose for him. Then he vanished. No sound. No flash. Just gone. Later that night, Jay stood at the edge of a lake, looking at his reflection. He didn't recognize the face anymore. The armor had begun to grow across his neck, creeping toward his jawline like vines. His voice was deeper. His thoughts were faster. He could remember alien numbers, alien names, alien pain. And somewhere deep inside, a second heart had started to beat. One slow, heavy thump. Always behind his own. Thump, thump. Mira came to him quietly, holding something small, a charm, old, worn, a symbol from her grandmother's stories. She pressed it into his hand. "You're still in there," she whispered. "Don't let them. Take all of you." Jace stared at the charm, trying to feel something. He felt warmth. For a second, then noise, loud. From the east. An explosion. Flames. Then a scream, not human. He turned. Armor forming again in an instant. Mira looked at him, terrified. "What now?" she asked. He didn't speak. He was already running because somewhere nearby another alien had landed. But this one wasn't looking for the armor. It was looking for him. It began with a whisper, not from outside, but from deep inside Jace's mind. A voice that spoke without sound. A presence that moved when he moved, breathed when he breathed. He stood alone in an old train yard, where rusted machines slept under thick fog. The city was far behind him now. He had left Mira behind not to run from her, but to protect her. She didn't say it, but he knew she was afraid. He was afraid too. The armor no longer waited for commands. It acted on its own. Sometimes it opened his eyes at night and walked while he slept. Sometimes it made him say words he didn't understand. He didn't feel pain anymore, or hunger, or cold. And worst of all, his memories were slipping. He tried to think of his mother's face. Nothing, his favorite food, gone, but he could remember battles from another world. He remembered how it felt to hold a burning blade, how it felt to command soldiers, how it felt to win. The voice inside was louder now, clearer. "You are not weak," it said. "You are not small. You are Thoreau's. You are war." Jace dropped to his knees, holding his head. "No," he whispered, "I'm Jace." But the armor didn't care. It crawled up the sides of his face now. It pulsed with light behind his eyes. The second heart inside him beat faster each day. He couldn't tell which one was his anymore. That night, he dreamed of a throne made of bone. He sat on it. Others knelt before him, strange creatures with broken armor and hollow eyes. They chanted the name Thoreau's again and again when he woke. He wasn't sure he had really been asleep. The next day, Mira found him. He was standing still in the middle of the yard, not moving, not blinking, just staring. "Jace," she said softly. He didn't answer. She stepped closer. "Jace, can you hear me?" His head turned slowly. His eyes were glowing white. "I saw you die," he said. Mira froze. "What?" "I saw it. In a battle, you were someone else. But it was still you, and I—" He stopped, his jaw clenched. The armor hissed like steam across his skin. "I don't know what's real anymore." Mira stepped forward and took his hand. "You are real," she said. "I'm real. And whoever you were before, it doesn't matter. You're still Jace. You have to fight it." His voice cracked. "I'm trying." Then the armor spoke through him, not like a whisper, but like a storm. "Host is failing. Primary mind incomplete. Initiating full transfer." Jace screamed. The armor flared with light and covered his face, sealing him in. He dropped to the ground, twitching, choking. Mira knelt beside him, tears running down her face. "No, don't do this. Stay with me." She reached into her bag and pulled out something old, a small, jagged stone. The same charm her grandmother once gave her. The one she was told could weaken the bond between human and alien. She pressed it to his chest. Nothing. Then, a pulse, a shockwave of blue light. The armor cracked around the center. Jace gasped, his hand grabbing hers. "Mira," he whispered. "It's still trying to erase me." She held his face. "Then I'll stop it." "No," he said. "If you break the bond now, I might die." "I don't care," she said. "I'd rather lose you than watch you become something else." But before she could decide, something exploded nearby. A ship, not alien, human. A secret team had followed her. Soldiers in dark suits rushed into the yard, weapons pointed. Commands shouted, and behind them, Captain Reyes. He looked at Jace, then at the armor. He raised his weapon. "This ends now." "No." Mira screamed, but it was too late. The gun fired. A shock round flew straight toward Jace. The armor reacted faster than thought. It lit up like fire. A wave of black energy blasted out in all directions. Soldiers flew backward. Mira was thrown against a wall, and when the smoke cleared, Jace wasn't there. He had vanished. Not walked, not run. Just gone. Only one thing remained where he stood. A symbol burned into the dirt, not a warning message. He was no longer hiding. He was preparing. Rain fell for the first time in weeks. Not soft rain, hard, angry drops that struck the earth like tiny hammers. The sky above the city was black with storm clouds, and behind those clouds, something else waited. Jay stood on the edge of a broken skyscraper, the wind pulling at his long black cape, now part of the armor itself. His face was hidden behind a full mask, smooth and featureless. His eyes no longer glowed blue. They glowed white, bright and blinding. Far below, people were running. Alarms screamed. The government had finally spoken. News channels warned of the rogue alien weapon now living inside a young man named Jace Render. They called him a threat to the planet. They were right and wrong. The alien fleet had arrived. Not just 3 ships this time, but hundreds. Some were in orbit. Others hovered above cities, waiting, silent, watching, ready to attack the moment the armor chose a side. And the armor was still choosing. Inside his mind, Jace heard the voice again, louder than ever. "You are Thoreau's, the last general. The war is not over." He saw visions every time he blinked. Battles from long ago, the faces of the dead, the weight of thousands of lives. He could feel his second heart pounding, stronger now than the first. The armor had repaired itself completely. He could fly now. He could destroy entire buildings with a thought he didn't know how much of. Jace was left, until he heard a voice call his name. Not from memory. Not from the armor. From below. Myra. She stood in the street, soaked in rain, holding the same charm her grandmother gave her. It glowed faintly in her hand like a single candle in the dark. "You said you'd fight it," she shouted. "So fight it now." He didn't answer. The sky above them cracked open. A massive alien warship pushed through. The clouds, dark and silent. Its shape was like a long blade. Its lights glowed red. From its underside, hundreds of pods began to fall toward Earth, each one carrying a soldier like the ones he fought before Earth had minutes left. The armor inside Jace roared, "Let us rise. Let us lead. Let us finish what they started." But something inside him said no. Not a voice, a memory. His first memory. Not as Thoreau's, but as Jace, a boy 10 years old, standing in a junkyard with a wooden sword, playing pretend, dreaming of becoming a hero. He looked down at Mira. She was still there, still waiting, still believing. He ripped off the mask, and for a moment, the rain touched his face. He whispered, "I remember." Then he jumped. The air cracked around him as he flew faster than sound, straight toward the falling pods. One by one, he smashed them from the sky, cutting them open with blades of pure light. Alien warriors spilled out, but he didn't kill them. He disarmed them, stopped them. One after another, Reyes, watching from the ground, lowered his gun. "He's not destroying the world," he said to his team. "He's saving it." But not everyone agreed. From deep inside the alien ship, something massive began to move. A final weapon. The last failsafe. A creature made of armor and hate, larger than any human ship, dropped toward the city like a meteor. Jace looked up, his body shaking. Even with all the power, he knew this might be too much. The armor inside spoke again, softer this time. If we fight as one, we win. But if we lose, there will be nothing left. Jace closed his eyes. Then he made a choice. He lifted into the sky, higher and higher, the energy building around him until he burned like a second sun. Then he flew straight into the heart of the falling beast. The explosion turned the night into day. The shockwave blew out windows for miles. Then silence. When the smoke cleared, the alien ship was gone. The pods stopped falling, and the sky was quiet again. But Jace was nowhere to be found. Only pieces of armor floated down like ash. Mira ran through the streets, calling his name again and again, but there was no answer. Not that day. Not the next. Later they built a statue at the edge of the city. A simple one, no glowing lights, no weapons, just a young man in armor looking up at the stars. They called him a hero, a protector. Some said he died saving Earth. Others said he's still alive, somewhere in the sky, watching, waiting. But Myra believed something different. She stood at the statue every year, whispering the same words. You're still in there. You didn't lose, you chose. And sometimes, when the wind blew just right, the charm in her hand glowed softly again. Not an ending. Just silence, for now.